The Brooklyn Borough president decides to make a point about the city's tough economic straits, and it involves his own belt-tightening. The point starts right now. It's down with party time in the borough of Brooklyn as Antonio Reynoso says ixnay to spending on local celebrations so it can use the money to ward off budget cuts. The borough president joins me remotely from Brooklyn because there is, as you know, there's been a flood and everybody has been flooded out. He couldn't even get here. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Borough President. Before we get started on politics, I want to talk to you about the weather, the flood, and if you feel that the city has responded adequately to this weather emergency.
There's no way I can objectively say that we've done a good job of being able to notify the constituents of Brooklyn, the residents of Brooklyn. Brooklyn has been hit the hardest with this flood here, Marcia, and it's concerning that the notifications and the information that was received by residents of Brooklyn were extremely limited and late, to be perfectly honest. The severity of this storm, of the amount of rain that we're getting, should have been something that was communicated to us yesterday, and it wasn't. It wasn't something that we were preparing for. So I had to, just like every other parent, take both of my kids to school in this severe weather. I would have rather not have done that if I would have had the right information. So
what you're saying is that there should be some kind of an overhaul in how the city and the state deals with weather emergencies?
Yes, it feels to me that instead of being overly cautious, they're undercautious. It's almost like they believe that they were going to be underwhelmed by the amount of rain we saw. And I just would like them to err on the side of caution. And they didn't do that. This feels very sloppy. The press conference that they just had, you would think everything was great. But the people out in Brooklyn, they'll tell you something different.
So are you saying that maybe the city should have thought about maybe canceling school today, that it would have been too dangerous to have school buses and for kids to be going out in this weather?
But what I'm saying is that at least give us an opportunity to make that decision ourselves. If yesterday the mayor would have had a press conference, there would have been some level of seriousness taken to this weather event. I think people see flash flood warnings all the time, and they might not understand exactly how severe one is going to be over another. But the mayor coming to a press conference or showing up and really letting us know that this is going to be severe would change the tone, would have me prepared as to whether or not maybe we stay home and not take our kids to school. And now we have to pick up all these kids in Brooklyn at 2:30 in the midst of the second wave of rain that's about to fall down.
So what do you want to have the city and the state do?
I just think that they need to have a deeper conversation about exactly how they're going to notify the residents of Brooklyn and New York City or New York State in general. The problem here, Marcia, is that climate change is real. And this is going to be happening a lot more often than before. And I feel like we're using the systems of old to address an issue, a crisis that exists right now. And obviously, with all the flooding we're seeing, the infrastructure in the city is just not capable of handling these type of events. And it doesn't seem like the mayor has any urgency when it comes to solving for this problem long term either.
Do you think that the MTA was prepared for this kind of a storm?
There's no way to say that it was. We're talking about shutting down in Brooklyn. I think we shut down 5 train lines. And there's no way that was a level of preparation. They would have warned us, hey, be ready. We might shut down several train lines in Brooklyn. That wasn't the case. They shut them down when they were shut down versus preparing for it. I just don't feel like the preparation was necessarily there. I do want to say the state did warn us that this was going to be more of a problem than the city did, but still just really feel like we're underprepared here.
You know, I've seen you at several press conferences over the last several weeks taking issue with policies of the Adams administration, mostly having to do with budget cuts, having to do with the migrants. And first of all, to backtrack a little bit, I know that you decided to be down with the so-called fluff and use the money that you have in discretionary funds to try to help people rather than spend it on parties. Why are you doing that? It's largely symbolic, but do you think it sends the right signal?
I think so. Yesterday, we were celebrating Latino Heritage Month in Borough Hall. It's the last celebration that we're going to be holding. And I was just sitting there thinking, we're about to celebrate Latino heritage when we have these 120,000 migrants that are here, are mostly from Latin American countries. I just felt like we can do better. And it just sent the wrong message that we would celebrate instead of looking to provide resources for the crisis that we have at hand.
But also, you've been at a press conference that protested the mayor's decision to ask agencies to cut as much as 15% from their budgets to deal with the migrant problem. And I know that you feel that there's another way to do it, but how does the mayor make ends meet when he has to pay for the migrant problem, to house the migrants, to feed the migrants, help them get jobs, at the same time providing city services? What's the answer?
Yeah, and I hope you would give me the time here, Marcia, because I think that's it. I think a lot of folks are just talking and they're not giving solutions. That is not the case here. We've written a memo to the mayor, specifically talking about the opportunities to use luxury apartments to house migrants that would be more affordable than what they're using right now to pay for or per migrant that enters the city of New York. Right now, you can go on any website and look for an apartment and find a one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn for $2,800 or $3,000. The city of New York could rent those apartments at market rate under contract with the landlord. They're not allowed to discriminate based on documentation or status, which means that we can use all of these apartments that are currently vacant to house these folks. It'll give them more stable housing. It'll be more affordable for the city. But the city's not doing that. They're exhausting all city resources, but are not having a conversation of how the private industry could step in and help us here. We've also had conversations about the lack of work that they're doing with filling out forms so that these asylum seekers could start moving on to the path of work documentation or work authorization. The faster we get them in through work authorization, the faster that we could relieve ourselves of the responsibility of caring for them, because now they have an out. They are allowed to chase opportunities. But this mayor is simply housing them, warehousing migrants, not doing any other work because he doesn't think it's his responsibility. But guess what? If the federal government doesn't show up, we're going to keep seeing the cost rise. So those are two things that I think are very common sense, practical things that he's not done yet.
So if, in fact, the mayor says he has to make these budget cuts, would you say instead of cutting, raise taxes?
I would say do the first two things I said first, which is the most important thing. And then two, raising taxes. I want to be very clear with people. We do not have a significant progressive tax system here. We can do a much better job. And when you say raise taxes, you got to be very clear about who we're talking about. We're talking about raising taxes on the deeply wealthy of the state of New York. We're talking about people that are making hundreds of millions of dollars. The middle class would actually see a decrease in the amount of taxes that they would pay if we do the tax system as we've been asking for at the state level. So just want to be very clear. We're not raising taxes and that the normal working class Brooklynite is going to feel it. This is an impact that would affect very small amount of people that can take on, that should be paying their fair share, and they're not.
We have about 15 seconds left. Do you think that the mayor is going to have a primary challenge when he runs for re-election?
I'm an old school politician. I think everyone should always be primaried, regardless of who you are. I should be primaried. It just gives you an opportunity to show the public that what you've done and speak to your record.
Would you primary him?
I'm the president of the greatest borough in the city of New York, and I want to focus on being a great borough president and nothing else.
Thank you so much. We're going to have to leave it right there for now, but our conversation continues on CBS News New York.